very good evening to you and welcome to tonight's edition of Primetime News, coming to you live from the Newsfirst studios here in Colombo. My name is Krishan Devasagaya.
And I'm Beira Lake. Let's have a look at your headlines for tonight.
The headlines on Newsfirst.
Australian scientists visit Sri Lanka for discussions on introducing Wolbachia to combat dengue. Rupees 2.1 million fine imposed on those responsible for dengue breeding sites in Maharagama. UN Human Rights Office highlights need for urgent solutions to prison issues, including overcrowding. Pasan Amarasena resigns as president of the Judicial Services Association. Silt removal begins at 30 locations around Beira Lake.
In your top story tonight, discussions are now underway to introduce the Wolbachia bacteria as a dengue control strategy in Sri Lanka. The National Dengue Control Unit has stated that Australia has expressed its willingness to provide this technology to Sri Lanka.
Meanwhile, 1,079 dengue cases were reported in the country yesterday alone. Accordingly, the total number of dengue cases reported so far this year has reached 67,143. The total number of lives lost due to dengue thus far in 2026 stands at 47.
How will the Wolbachia bacteria program be introduced to Sri Lanka?
A team of Australian scientists representing the World Mosquito Program visited Sri Lanka to examine the procedures for producing Wolbachia bacteria locally. The National Dengue Control Unit says that they have inspected the proposed locations for setting up production facilities. A memorandum of understanding regarding this technology transfer is expected to be signed soon. Meanwhile, Colombo Mayor Raikali Baltazar stated that there is an agreement in principle to allocate land within the Colombo Municipal Council limits for this project, with a final decision expected on the 21st of this month.
What is Wolbachia?
Releasing Wolbachia bacteria is a successful dengue control strategy currently used in 15 countries, including Indonesia, Singapore, Laos, and Australia. The process involves releasing Aedes aegypti mosquitoes carrying Wolbachia into the environment. These mosquitoes mate with the existing population, creating a new generation that carries the bacteria, which limits the transmission of diseases like dengue and chikungunya.
Which areas are currently reporting the highest number of dengue patients? Are there any areas where dengue cases have decreased?
The National Dengue Control Unit reports that dengue cases remain high in the Colombo, Gampaha, Kandy and Badulla districts. However, the incidence rate has decreased in the Matara, Galle, Matale and Ratnapura districts.
Progress on dengue control programs.
Dengue control programs are ongoing across the country. Maharagama, the Gangodavilla Magistrates Court imposed fines totaling 2.1 million rupees on premises found to be mosquito breeding sites.
ඩෙන්ගු බෝ කරපු ස්ථාන වෙනුවෙන් දිනකට පැනවූ වැඩිම දඩ මුදල ලක්ෂ 21ක මුදලක් ගරු මහේස්ත්‍රාත් අධිකරණයේ දඩ වශයෙන් නියම කළා. ඉතින් ඉදිරියේදී මේ වැඩසටහන් පෙර පරිදිම පැවැත්වෙනවා. ඉතින් ඔබගේ පරිශ්‍රයත් පිරිසිදුව තබා ගන්න. එහෙම නැති වුණොත් ඔබටත් දඩ මුදලක් ගෙවීමට සිදු වෙයි.
Kotikavatta Multeriava. The Pradesh Sabha has decided to take strict legal action against owners of abandoned lands that serve as mosquito breeding grounds.
කොටිකාවත්ත මුල්ලේරිය ප්‍රාදේශීය සභාවෙම හඳුනාගත් හිස්සිඩම් 150කට වැඩි ප්‍රමාණයක් තියෙනවා. හැබැයි ප්‍රාදේශීය සභාවේ සභාපතිතුමාත් එක්ක කතා කරලා අපිට සභාපතිතුමාගේ අන්න පරිදි මේ බලය ලැබුණා මේ ඉඩම් වලට අවශ්‍ය කරන නීතිමය පිළිවෙල ගන්න. අද ඉඳන් අපි පටන් ගන්නවා මේ සියලුම හිස්සිඩම් එකක්වත් තියන්න නම් එපා. සියලු විහිදම් ටික සභාවට ගෙවලා තමයි මේ ඉඩම නැවත අත්පත් කරගන්න වෙන්නේ. ජීවිත 12ක් අපිට නැති වෙන්න ඉඩ දෙන්න බෑ.
Gotatua, MOH areas have been conducting inspections, highlighting that mosquito breeding occurs both within and outside homes.
මේ නිවසිය දන්නෙත් නෑ මේ වගේ තැනක මෙච්චර ජල ප්‍රමාණයක් තියෙනවා වුණාට මෙතන ඉන්නවා
පළවෙනි කීට අවස්ථාවේ ඉඳන් හතරවෙනි කීට අවස්ථාව දක්වා මදුරු කීටයන් මෙහි සිටිනවා. එළියේ ජල මූලාශ්‍රවල බිත්තර දාන්න හොයද්දී නැති වෙද්දී නිවාසය ඇතුළට ඇවිල්ලා බිත්තර දැමීම සිදු කරන එකයි අපි කියන්නේ නිවස පිටත මෙන්ම නිවස ඇතුළත් අනිවාර්යෙන් බලන්න කියලා.
Legal action was taken against individuals who maintained environments conducive for the breeding of dengue mosquitoes. This took place during inspection of houses in a number of areas in Dole Kanatta, Piliandala. Meanwhile, the dengue eradication program in the Kalutara district focused on the Atalugam area today. Drones with cameras mounted on them were also used to inspect houses and gardens from above. Kandy. Large-scale fogging operations using 28 fogging machines were carried out around the Temple of the Sacred Tooth Relic and the Kandy city area.
ඇත්තටම අපි දිගින් දිගටම ජනතාව දැනුවත් කරනවා. නමුත් ජනතාවගෙන් කියන්න කනගාටුයි කිසිම සහයෝගයක් නැහැ. ප්‍රසිද්ධ ස්ථානවල මදුරුවන් බෝවන ස්ථාන වැඩි කරමින් ඔවුන් අපේ ජීවිතවලට අනතුරක් කරනවා.
Kantole, a joint operation involving health officials, police and the military was conducted in the Beira village.
මේ ඔක්කොම ඩෙන්ගු බෝ කරන්න පුළුවන් ඩෙන්ගු තවන්න වගේ ඕගොල්ලන්ට. රෝගීන් 67ක් ඉන්න අපේ පැත්තේ. ඉතින් මේ විදිහට තියන්න දෙන්න බෑ තව දුරටත් අපිට. දැන් සුද්ධ කරන්න ඕන ඔක්කොම.
Is there sufficient public support?
Health authorities continue to stress that public cooperation is essential to control the spread of dengue.
සෞඛ්‍ය කීට විද්‍යා නිලධාරීන්ගේ රටපුරා කරන ලද දත්තවලට අනුව ඊඩිස් ඊජිප්ටයි සහ ඊඩිස් ඇල්බෝපික්ටස් මදුරුවන් රෝග වාහකයන් උනත් ඊඩිස් ඊජිප්ටයි මදුරුවාගේ ගහණය වැඩිවීම තමයි ප්‍රධාන හේතුව වන්නේ මේ ඩෙන්ගු රෝගයේ ව්‍යාප්තියට. ඒක නිසා අපේ සමීක්ෂණ දත්ත අනුව අපිට පේනවා ඊඩිස් ඊජිප්ටයි මදුරුව මේ වෙනකොට තවමත් අඩුවීම සිදු වෙන්නේ ඉතාම හෙමින්. අපිට ඒකෙදි හේතුව තමයි වෙලා තියෙන්නේ මේ ඊඩිස් ඊජිප්ටයි මදුරුවන් අඩු කිරීම සඳහා ජනතාවගේ පැත්තෙන් අපිට තවදුරටත් යම් මෙහෙවරක් කෙරෙන්න ඕන. ජනතාව හිතන් ඉන්නේ අපි මේක ජනතාවට අපි විසින්ම කළ යුතු දෙයක් විදියට.
ගොඩක් දෙනෙක්ගේ නොසලකීමත්භාවය තියෙනවා. මෙච්චර විවසනයක් රටේ තියෙන වෙලාවෙත් නිවාස පිරිසුදු කරගැනීමේ තත්ත්වය අපිට ගොඩක් අඩුවෙන් දකින්න ලැබෙන්නේ. ජනතාවගෙන් අපිට ප්‍රධාන වශයෙන්ම කරන් තියෙන ඉල්ලීම තමයි මේ දූමායන කටයුතු වලින් විතරක් මේ ඩෙන්ගු මර්ධනය කරන්න බෑ. ඔබගේ දායකත්වය අපිට අත්‍යවශ්‍යයි. ගෙවත්ත සහ ඔබගේ ගෙවට අවට පිරිසුදු කරගන්න ඕනි. අපි එන්නේ ඔයගොල්ලන්ට උදව් කරන්න අපි තැන්න පෙන්වලා දෙනවා. ඔයාලට හොයාගන්න බැරි තැන් ඇස නොකඩන තැන් අපි අවධානය යොමු කරනවා. ඔබ ජනතාව විසියට මේ වෙලාවේ ජාතික වගකීමක් ඉෂ්ට කරන්න තියෙනවා ඩෙන්ගු තත්ත්වය පාලනය කරන්න.
Supreme Court Justice Sampath Abekun says that the country's judicial system is undergoing a remarkable transformation, moving from a conventional paper-based system into a highly digitized one. The justice pointed out that under the guidance of the incumbent Chief Justice, the digitization of both the Supreme Court and the Court of Appeal has already been completed.
The launch of the 10th edition of Needham, the annual law journal jointly published by the Department of Law and the Law Students Association of the University of Jaffna, was held at the University of Jaffna today. The volume is centered on the theme From the North to the World, an interdisciplinary approach to the lived realities, exploring how localized legal and social experiences connect to global frameworks. The event was attended by Justice of the Supreme Court Sampath Abekun, Justice of the Court of Appeal Sashi Mahindran, Deputy Solicitor General Suharshi Herath, Additional Draftsman of the Attorney General's Department S. Selvagunapalan, Dean of the Faculty of Arts of the University of Jaffna Nagamuttu Pradeepa Raja, and members of the university community.
Our court system is undergoing dramatic transformation from the usual paper-based system into a highly digitalized system under the guidance of our Chief Justice. Digitalization of the Supreme Court and the Court of Appeal has already been completed. E-filing of cases has already begun. Sooner rather than later, you will see the entire court system of the country being digitalized and interconnected into one system where the work will be much more efficient than at today. As the future of this country, please ready to be part of this transformation.
Law is not static. It revolves alongside society, responding to changing values, emerging challenges, and the aspiration of the people, its style. Through thoughtful research and informed debate, that evolution is guided in a principled and meaningful manner.
UN Human Rights spokesperson Ravina Shamdasani said that the recent prison violence in Sri Lanka is deeply alarming.
UN Human Rights spokesperson Ravina Shamdasani, in a recorded message, said that the recent violence at the Negombo prison is deeply alarming and that the families of the dozens who were killed and injured deserve to know the truth and to see accountability.
The outbreak of deadly violence this week at a jail in Negombo and the reports of reprisals against inmates by guards at other prisons are deeply alarming. The families of the dozens who were killed and injured, including inmates and prison officers, deserve to know the truth and to see accountability. We welcome the authorities' pledge to carry out investigations into the incidents, and these must be prompt, independent, and transparent. The violence also underscores the urgency of tackling structural concerns around detention in Sri Lanka. These include prolonged pre-trial detention, overcrowding, and inadequate conditions in detention facilities. A disproportionate number of people are also detained for drug-related offenses, many of whom should benefit from health-centered responses as opposed to incarceration. We urge the authorities to grant the Human Rights Commission of Sri Lanka unfettered access to Negombo and to all other detention facilities, including prisons where the prisoners were transferred and allegedly subjected to torture and other forms of ill treatment.
All female inmates at the Negombo prison have been transferred to other correctional facilities. Department of Prison spokesperson A.C. Janaki said that nearly 700 male inmates remain at the facility and are also expected to be transferred, effectively making Negombo prison a prisoner-free zone. The Negombo prison housed approximately 2,400 inmates. The Ministry of Justice stated that the decision was taken due to the extensive damage caused to the prison premises during the recent clash, making it unsuitable for the continued detention of inmates. According to the ministry, the temporary transfer of inmates will facilitate ongoing investigations by allowing investigators to safely examine the crime scene, ensure the safety of prisoners, and enable renovation work at the prison to commence promptly once investigations are completed. Meanwhile, prison officers who lost their lives in the incident have been posthumously promoted. A.C. Janaki said the officer serving as a second-class jailer has been promoted to first-class jailer, while the other deceased prison guards have been elevated to the rank of sergeant. He added that compensation of 500,000 rupees has also been granted to the families of each of the deceased officers. The clash, which erupted between rival groups linked to drug trafficking and organized crime within the Negombo prison, claimed the lives of 8 prison officers and 21 inmates, while nearly 100 others sustained injuries.
Colombo is the main commercial city of our country, which is of course developing day by day. Now the Beira Lake is also a place that cannot be overlooked in Colombo.
Now currently a special program is underway to restore the beauty that the Beira Lake lost due to human activities.
During the Portuguese colonial era, the Beira Lake was constructed as a water barrier to ensure the defense of Colombo city. During the Dutch and British colonial periods, the Beira Lake was also utilized as a mode of transportation. The main reason for the pollution of this lake, which spans an area of nearly 160 acres, is that many of Colombo city's drainage systems have been diverted into it. At present, the initial phase of the development program for Beira Lake has commenced. These activities are being directed by the Sri Lanka Land Development Corporation. The development project is being carried out in several phases. As of the first phase, silt removal is currently underway in over 30 locations along the banks of the Beira Lake. Plans have also been formulated to construct a pipeline system around the lake to prevent the inflow of wastewater into the water body. Meanwhile, in more local news, a flight that departed from the Bandaranaike International Airport in Katunayaka to Istanbul, Turkey this morning made an emergency landing back at the Katunayaka Airport. Now, this was due to a bird strike that occurred shortly after takeoff.
A Turkish Airlines Airbus A330-300 passenger aircraft departed from Katunayake at 7:07 a.m. this morning, carrying 253 passengers and 10 crew members. Director General of the Civil Aviation Authority, Daminda Rambukwella, stated that a bird strike occurred shortly after takeoff. Subsequently, the aircraft circled the airspace over the Negombo Lagoon area for over 3 hours to burn off fuel and reduce its weight for a safer landing. Emergency rescue and firefighting services at the airport were kept on standby, and the aircraft was landed safely at 10:21 a.m.
President of the Judicial Services Association Fourth Magistrate Passan Amarasena resigned from his post today. The resignation comes in protest against the general meeting of the association scheduled to be held today. In a lengthy letter, the magistrate explained the reason behind his decision to step down from the position.
Magistrate Passan Amarasena has stated in a letter that the Judicial Service Association was established for the welfare of its member judges and has never functioned as, nor possesses, the capacity to act as a trade union. Excerpt.
It is with regret and disgust that I must inform the entire membership that a handful of our members and a group of executive committee members, led by the Secretary of the Judicial Services Association, are acting in a manner unbecoming of judges, bringing disrepute to the association and its membership and dragging the entire collective into a very low and dangerous state, something that has never happened in history.
End of excerpt. The notification issued by Magistrate Passan Amarasena further notes that the JSA membership had decided to hold a special general meeting to seek the views of its members regarding the widely discussed issue of extending the retirement age of judges. He points out that it has been the tradition to inform the Judicial Service Commission regarding such topics and obtain their consensus before holding all previous special general meetings of the JSA. However, his proposal that the JSC be informed of this matter was rejected by the Executive Committee without reason. The statement further notes that for a special general meeting to be held, 86 members must confirm their participation. However, only 46 had done so. Accordingly, Magistrate Passan Amarasena states that according to established tradition, there is no capacity to hold this proposed special general meeting. Excerpt.
As it is evident that a sufficient number of members are not confirming their participation and thus it appears the special general meeting cannot be held. It is now clear that the secretary of our association, along with several executive committee members and a few other members, are engaged in a regrettable and shameless attempt to support political interests and factions opposed to the extension of the retirement age. They are attempting to hold the meeting by any means necessary to pass a resolution opposing the extension in order to publicize it via media. This intent is made clear by the fact that the secretary announced the meeting would be held without fail even before the deadline confirming participation had passed. Furthermore, by frequently changing executive committee decisions and informing the executive council of these altered decisions, it appears the secretary is deliberately altering meeting minutes to falsely represent his desired outcomes as the decisions of the executive council.
End of excerpt. Clarifying the situation, Magistrate Passan Amarasena has declared that he will not attend today's general meeting and will not accept any responsible for it, stating that he has no desire to continue providing leadership to an executive committee that can no longer be trusted, and noting that he has no confidence in the current secretary of the Judicial Service Association or the majority of its executive committee. Magistrate Passan Amarasena further stated that he is resigning from the position of president of the Judicial Service Association with immediate effect.
The general meeting of the Judicial Services Association was held at the Kadubela Magistrates Court this morning. A total of 65 members attended the meeting. All members voted against the proposal to extend the retirement age of judges. The Secretary of the Judicial Service Association, Judge Suranga Munasinghe, has emphasized in a message to the association's members that the Executive Committee strongly rejects all contents of a notice issued by the association's president just 13 hours before the special general meeting. Judge Suranga Munasinghe states in his message that the Executive Committee had authorized him to issue this clarification. His message confirms that the association's special general meeting was scheduled to be held at 10 a.m. on the 11th of July 2026 at the Kaduwela Magistrates Court. Along with his message, he has attached 2 letters sent by the Executive Committee to the Secretary of the Judicial Service Association.
Weather first.
And in your weather forecast tonight, the heat index, which is the temperature felt on the human body, is likely to increase up to caution level in several districts. Meanwhile, the Department of Meteorology has issued an advisory for strong winds and rough seas.
Anil Tunga is ready to bring you the latest weather update. Anilka?
Yes, thank you Krishan and Viara. Now in your latest weather update, dry weather conditions have prevailed over the northern and eastern provinces as well as several districts in the Uva province during the past few days. Now the heat index, the temperature felt on human body, is likely to increase up to caution level at some places in Mullatiu, Vaunia, Patiklo, Ampara, Trincomalee and Monragala during the daytime. The Met Department advises people in those areas to take the following precautions. Now, if you are working outdoors, make sure to consume plenty of water. Take breaks in the shade as often as possible. Check up on the elderly and the sick and never leave the children unattended. Wear lightweight and white or light colored clothing outdoors. The Department of Meteorology states that following these measures can help reduce the effects of hot weather on the body. Meanwhile, an advisory for strong winds and rough seas has also been issued. According to the Natural Hazards Early Warning Center of the Met Department, sea areas off the coast extending from Hambantota to Pothuwil and from Mannar to Chilau via Puttalam will be very rough at times with strong gusty winds up to 50 to 60 kilometers per hour. Naval and fishing communities are requested to be vigilant and be attentive to future forecasts issued by the Department of Meteorology in this regard.
Watch the FIFA World Cup live, where the best football teams in the world compete. Live matches, Rewind TV, highlights, reels. Watch it all for free. Download the Pure mobile app now. Watch the FIFA World Cup live, where the best football teams in the world compete. Live matches, Rewind TV, highlights, reels. Watch it all for free. Download the Pure mobile app now.
Welcome back to the news. Professionals from Sri Lanka and India gathered in Colombo today for the Media Fest Sri Lanka 2026, which was organized by the Sri Lanka-India Media Friendship Association.
The Sri Lanka Media Fest 2026 was held under the theme Staying Relevant in a Changing World.
Journalists are not always part of the story, are they? Well, today they were the center of the conversation. Sri Lanka Media Fest 2026 brought together media professionals from Sri Lanka as well as India to discuss digital transformation, journalism and regional collaborations.
The event was organized by the Sri Lanka-India Media Friendship Association.
The media industry is experiencing one of the greatest transformation in its history. Artificial intelligence is changing how news is produced. Social media has changed how people consume information. One thing has not changed. People still search for one thing above everything else. That is the truth. Credibility is no longer simply a professional value. It has become the greatest asset of every media institution. At the government responsible for mass media, we firmly believe that a strong democracy requires a responsible, independent and professional media sector. Our responsibility is to create an environment where quality journalism can thrive, where media professionals can work safely, where innovation is encouraged and where freedom is matched with responsibility.
The technology has expanded the reach of journalism. It has opened exciting new possibilities for storytelling, but it has also reinforced the importance of the values that define credible journalism: accuracy, fairness, integrity, verification, and public trust. In this fast evolving media landscape, the role of journalists has become even more important. We are fortunate that both India and Sri Lanka have vibrant, extensive, and dynamic media ecosystems. As two vibrant democracies, our journalists share many common challenges, from adapting to new technologies and combating misinformation to sustaining public trust and preserving editorial integrity. We can certainly benefit from sharing our experiences, which is an opportunity that this platform provides.
A series of panel discussions took place, as well as keynote addresses by Smita Prakash, Chief Editor and Deputy CEO of Asian News International, Ashok Malik, partner at the Asia Group, and Maria Shakil, Managing Editor at India Today.
The Lionel Wendt Arts Centre welcomed visitors for the second consecutive day today, offering the unique opportunity to explore an art exhibition and a photography showcase under one roof.
The Unbound Art Exhibition and the Across Lands and Cultures Photography Exhibition was held for the second day today at the Lionel Wendt Arts Centre. Unbound is an art exhibition by Inegia Dilshan Fernando. Marking his first ever solo art exhibition, Unbound presents a collection of paintings crafted in his own distinctive style, reflecting his artistic vision and creative journey. Across Lands and Cultures Photography Exhibition, featuring breathtaking photographs by members of the Photographic Society of America, showcases the beauty of the world through the lens. The photographs depict a diverse range of subjects including nature, wildlife, landscapes, cultures and everyday life. The exhibition will be open to the public tomorrow as well, from 9:30 a.m. to 7 p.m, inviting art enthusiasts to explore and experience this celebration of creativity.
And in international news tonight, we start off with the conflict in the Middle East. Now, in his first message since the funeral of his father, Iran's supreme leader Mojtaba Khamenei has pledged to avenge the innocent blood of his father, adding that revenge is the will of his nation.
Meanwhile, US President says 1,000 missiles are quote-unquote locked and loaded and aimed at the Islamic Republic of Iran, with thousands more to follow if he tries to assassinate him.
We now cross over to Theruni Karunaratna for the latest developments. Theruni.
Thank you very much, Krishan and Biara. Yes, indeed, Iran's supreme leader Mojtaba Khamenei said that, quote-unquote, revenge is the will of our nation. In his first message since the funeral of his father, Khamenei expressed his gratitude to the millions who turned up for the funeral of his father, who was assassinated in the US-Israeli attacks on the very first day of the war, that is the 28th of February 2026. Meanwhile, Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi has also travelled to Oman for talks. This visit is part of ongoing consultations between Tehran and Muscat pertaining to the arrangements for passage through the Strait of Hormuz.
An Iranian media report says that Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi is in Oman and will meet with his counterpart in the country that lies across the Strait of Hormuz from Iran. The report says Araghchi arrived in the country on Saturday to talk with Oman's foreign minister about mechanisms to ensure the safe passage of vessels through the strait. The United States and Iran were expected to resume talks following the funeral of former Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, but the US said on Tuesday that its military carried out strikes on Iran in response to Tehran's attacks on commercial vessels in the strait. The two sides have since been attacking each other. The US warns Iran to publicly state that the Strait of Hormuz is open and to pledge to stop firing on commercial ships. This came after incidents earlier this week in which 3 commercial tankers were attacked, prompting an exchange of strikes with the United States. According to US media, Iran told American officials the shootings were a mistake and blamed a rogue internal group. US President Donald Trump has said the Iranian attacks mean the ceasefire is over, but that talks aimed at ending the war would continue. Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi has accused the US of violating the deal. In June, the US and Iran signed a ceasefire agreement where Iran would, in part, give safe passage to commercial ships. Meanwhile, Pakistan's Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif has shared his deep concern with Iran's President Masoud Pezeshkian over the recent escalation in tensions. In a phone call with Pezeshkian, Sharif stressed the urgent need to restore regional peace and stability and the importance of upholding the commitments undertaken under the MOU which the US and Iran signed last month. Pakistan has been the main facilitator of talks between Washington and Tehran. Trump says US ready to completely decimate and destroy Iran in case of assassination attempt. US President Donald Trump has threatened to launch thousands of missiles at Iran should it try to assassinate him in a Truth Social post. In his post, Trump said, and I quote, 1,000 missiles are locked and loaded and aimed at the Islamic Republic of Iran, with thousands of more to immediately follow should the Iranian government act on its threat pronounced in many corners of the globe to assassinate or attempt to assassinate the sitting president of the United States of America, in this case, me, unquote. Iran's chief negotiator says country ready for full-scale defense. Meanwhile, Iran's lead negotiator and parliament speaker, Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf, says Tehran will never surrender to the United States and is ever ready to defend itself if Washington backs out of the MOU. Ghalibaf had said, and I quote, "We have never stopped preparing to defend our country, and if at any moment the Americans betray the understanding, we are ready for a full-scale defense," unquote.
Meanwhile, 15 people have died after a speedboat carrying Indian tourists capsized near an island in the south of Vietnam. Local media reports citing regional authorities say that 32 Indians and 4 crew were on board the vessel, which overturned earlier today.
Foreign media reported that several tourist vessels in the area quickly came to the rescue, finding many passengers trapped inside the boat. 21 people are reported to have been saved. A senior Vietnamese official in the area said the authorities were still working to confirm the exact number of those who died as well as the survivors. The official had added that the speedboat may have capsized due to heavy winds and high waves. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi said he was quote-unquote extremely saddened to learn about the tragic news of a boat accident involving Indian nationals in Vietnam. The Indian embassy in Vietnam described the incident as quote-unquote tragic, publishing the full list of the 32 Indian nationals who were on board the capsized boat.
Shifting your attention to Spain, emergency services in the southeastern part of the country are working to contain pockets of fire after one of the country's worst ever wildfires. Hundreds of firefighters and other specialists have been deployed around the village of Beira, where 12 people are reported to have been killed. Another 23 people are still missing.
At least 12 people died attempting to flee a wildfire in southern Spain, and 23 were missing as firefighters battled to bring one of the country's deadliest blazes on record under control. According to the head of emergencies in the Andalusia region, one Spaniard was among the victims and the rest appeared to be foreign nationals who ignored instructions to shelter in place. A sustained heat wave with temperatures of around 40 degrees Celsius has caused wildfires across southern Europe this summer, particularly in France, Portugal and Spain. According to the European Forest Fire Information System, so far this year, about 57,000 hectares have been burnt in Spain, about half the annual average for the past 2 decades and making up 40% of all the area burnt in the European Union.
And in news closer to home, legendary playback singer Janaki has died at the age of 88, according to an announcement from her family earlier today. The family said the veteran singer died peacefully, surrounded by her loved ones, and also requested privacy as they mourn the loss. She is widely referred to as Janaki Amma and the Nightingale of South India, or the Nightingale of India. She is one of the greatest and most influential singers in the history of Indian music. She is also one of the most versatile singers in India. Janaki had recorded over 48,000 songs in films, albums, television and radio, which includes solos, duets, chorus and title tracks in 20 Indian languages. Janaki began her singing career in 1957 with the Tamil film Vidhiyin Vilayathu at the age of 19 and recorded songs in 6 different languages within the same year.
Well, it's sports news, and of course it's none other than football and the FIFA World Cup. Well, Beira, we are now approaching the final rounds of the 2026 FIFA World Cup, and what a tournament it has been, isn't it? Many records have been broken, a few controversies, but of course lots of good football and lots of good memories.
Yes, indeed, Krishan. Now I am excited to see who will take the cup home this year, and to tell us more on the latest, we have Onelka reporting from the Football Corner.
Now, Spain succeeded in reaching the semi-finals of the 2026 FIFA World Cup, following their victory against Belgium in the quarter-final match. The match was held in Los Angeles in front of over 70,000 spectators.
Number 4, Brandon Nefela.
In the 30th minute of tomorrow. Among them, the match between Norway and England will begin at 2:30 a.m. tomorrow local time at the Miami Stadium. The match between the current world champions Argentina and Switzerland will be held at the Kansas City Stadium. Now that match will begin at 6:30 a.m. local time. The licensed broadcasting rights in Sri Lanka for the 2026 FIFA World Cup are held by the Maharaja Media Network. All matches of the tournament can be watched live on Sirasa TV and TV1. Now we also have some tragic news from the world of football, where South African midfielder Jayden Adams has died at the age of 25, just weeks after featuring for his country at the World Cup.
Jayden Adams featured in all 3 of South Africa's group games at the tournament, where they reached the knockout stages before losing to co-hosts Canada in the round of 32. Police said in South Africa that they had opened an investigation after the body of a 25-year-old man was found at a house in a suburb in central Cape Town on Saturday morning. The South African Football Players Union said it was devastated by the untimely passing of Adams, who made his debut for his country in 2022. Adams started in the 1-1 draw against the Czech Republic in Group A, despite learning that his grandmother had passed away only hours before kickoff. He was part of the South African squad that reached the 2024 Africa Cup of Nations semi-finals before being called up for the World Cup, where the team made history in reaching the knockout stages of the competition for the first time.
Now on to some athletic news. Ayomal Akalanka set a new Sri Lankan men's 400-meter hurdles national record today, breaking the previous mark that had stood for 26 years. Akalanka achieved the feat while winning the silver medal in the event at the Asian Under-23 Athletics Championships currently being held in China. Akalanka completed the race in 49.03 seconds.
赛顺利发枪了，我们来关注男子400米栏的决赛，徐先锋在8道，延安在6道，在前2位。徐先锋要冲击冠军了，延安是在亚军的位置，最后冠军还是徐先锋。哇
！Watch the FIFA World Cup live, where the best football teams in the world compete. Live matches, Rewind TV, highlights, reels. Watch it all for free. Download the Pure mobile app now. Watch the FIFA World Cup live, where the best football teams in the world compete. Live matches, Rewind TV, highlights, reels. Watch it all for free. Download the Pure mobile app now.
Welcome back to the news. Now on to some rugby news. Trinity College Kandy took the lead in the 80th annual Rugby Shield by winning the first leg, which was played at the Royal College Sports Complex in Colombo this evening.
Trinity College Kandy won the first leg by 33 points to 10. Trinity scored 5 tries and successfully converted 4 of them. In reply, Royal College Colombo managed just 1 try, 1 conversion and 1 penalty. The second leg will be played in Kandy on the 25th of July. Yes FM serves as the official radio partner for this year's Rugby Shield, as well as for the participating teams Royal College Colombo and Trinity College Kandy.
And that's a wrap of your news for tonight.
Thank you for watching. Take care, good night and God bless you.